Squelch, 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 squelch.
Welcome back to Squelch, the Video Game Book Club. I'm Dano.
And I'm Concuss. I'm Storm Rage. That's my name. Let's not wear it out. And we're here to remind you that Dragon Age: Veilguard is a game, and games are supposed to be fun.
All right, so where were we? We were talking about opening set pieces for the Dragon Age games.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Also, real quick, I'm fine for the record.
Yes.
A canopy fell on me during a windstorm, and Friday night was a bad time. Saturday was bad. Sunday, I'm feeling much better, so nobody needs to stress about this.
If you want an honestly funny canopy story, remind me to tell that story sometime about the canopy that was built for when we returned from my first deployment. This is an actual funny story, not like a brain surgery funny story. This one's actually as funny. So remind me to tell that story sometime. But anyways, we're talking about cold opens for Dragon Age games. So Origins was awesome,
like the
because
opening hour or so, I would say.
Yeah. Opening hours, because you have your little intro, which, okay, for the Origins, I think the first were like, it's pretty interesting with like the background opening. I like that. But then I think the combat is real weak at the beginning of that. And then you get to the Blight, the Battle of the Blight. And that is amazing with King Kalen dies. So cool, so great.
Yes.
And then you get rescued by Flemeth, and it's super cool.
Yeah, really, really great. I think the strongest piece of that is the moment where the reinforcements don't come, and you realize that this is a game where your life is in danger because A, you die, B, the king dies, C, the entire army dies. And I think it does a really good job of being like, here are the stakes of this game. You are starting with nothing. Good luck. I think that really solid.
I do think it's the best, actually, because then Duncan dies, and then if you have that moment where, like, that incredible moment where you kill the ogre, light the flame, and then Logain
nothing,
just turns around and marches the army away. Such a great opening game. So you're right, Origins is the best. 2 is very fun, I think.
2 is also very fun because you get to start at that super high level. You are just like destroying things left and right, and then you realize it's just a story told by Varric, who's talking to Cassandra, who becomes an incredibly important character throughout the rest of the games. And there's so many cool elements of that. And as far as combat flow, Dragon Age 2, way better opening combat than Dragon Age Origins.
I think Inquisition is a pretty good, like, line between the two, because you do start with, I would say the first, 10 hours of Inquisition is so incredibly strong. From, like, going to the Temple of Sacred Ashes, going kablooey, like pressing play, and then the temple blowing up, and then you going, and then, like, coming to, like, waking up and finding Solus and Cassandra there and having to go and fight. Super cool. Killing the demon. Very cool. And then, like, marching through, like, the soldiers of the Inquisition. And then those opening missions up through, like, the Corypheus attacking.
But I feel like that's beyond the opening set. I feel like the opening set piece for Inquisition would stop at, like, the demon killing and closing that first veil.
Yes, I think as far as, like, going up the demon killing, I think it is weaker than Origins and maybe better than 2 or similar to 2. I think if you take in the whole,
pretty similar, the
whole first 10 hours of Inquisition, I think the best this video game series has to offer, up through the destruction of your first base. I think up till that point is some of the coolest this video game series has to offer. And then you get into the open world, and it gets a little wishy-washy at times. Inquisition does, but I think, like, that opening scene is really cool. And then everything, how like scrappy everything feels, and taking control, and then like even walking to the next cast, like getting to like your actual home base is so neat, and Solus telling you
Yeah.
where to go, and then you later learning why Solus knew where to go. I think that whole
Yep.
scene is just amazing. That whole bit of game is amazing.
And I think like Veilguard, as far as opening, because I'm focusing specifically on like the first hour
Sure,
or
yep,
two by and
yeah,
large.
yeah.
Because then Veilguard, we have the opening bar scene, really fun,
Very fun.
a cool idea to establish whether or not your rook is going to be more violent or diplomatic in how they solve things. We're thrown right into the thick of things. We get to Solus and his dagger, and we stop it, and then we are introduced to the main actual threat of it. And I think that pivot is really fun, and I think the combat is really clean. We are introduced to the idea of like stakes, because one of our companions will get a scar for the rest of the game based on one of our very first decisions. And I think like it just does a really good job in every single game. I don't think that there is a single weak opening set piece within the Dragon Age series.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, I think if anything, Veilguard might be the weakest, but that's just because the other three are so much fun and so good.
Yeah.
Nothing to say against Veilguard. I think Veilguard up to this point has been very good. It's been a very fun game. It is a fun game. Like, it's not your daddy's Dragon Age, but it is such a fun game. I would say it is more fun than Origins. Origins is not necessarily a fun game.
I would agree with that.
It's a good game. I think it is it's a great game, but as far as like fun, I don't know if it's as much fun as like bopping around the Veilguard and like
man, let me tell you what, I love dodging and booking around and slamming that ultimate button and figuring out the exact timing and being like, oh yeah, now I can do this and then this combo, and then I zoom in here, and then I swap weapons here, and then I dash over here, and then I parry here. It's fun. It's a fun time.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So into the meat and potatoes of this week, we are playing through the story quests of Friends in Hidden Places, Shadows of Minrathous, In Peace Vigilance, A Warden's Best Friend, On Blighted Wings, or On Deadly Wings. Spoilers, it's just one of those. And completing the Veilguard. And then we're doing the companion quests of A Study of Docktown and How to Train a Griffon. Next week, we are playing through Where the Dead Must Go, The Dragon Slayer, Shades of Blight, and Something Wrong, and Change on the Wind.
We hope. We're on a Titan schedule this week, so I will do my best to get through all of these.
Yep, so this takes us almost through the end of Act 1. So this will take us up through. So Change in the Wind is actually one of those quests that is, here's a quest, talk to someone, quest over.
Yep.
So it's about 3 hours of gameplay, give or take. So that's about where we're at. But we may do a little bit less than that because we are recording on a super short schedule this week because Storm Rage is heading out of town. So we're trying to record early this week so we can make sure we hit an episode for next week.
Thanks. I am pretty incredible.
Thank.
This is that part of the show where we thank our patrons, we thank our Twitch subs, and we thank our YouTube listener, Clyde. So, thank you, patrons and Twitch subs, and our YouTube listener, Clyde. Your support keeps this podcast ticking. If you want to support our show, head over to twitch.tv/DanOplay or patreon.com/squelch.
This one's a real page-turner.
Bless you.
Thank you. That's, do you think that works as the opening sound?
I think it's perfect. Yep.
Great.
No notes. First up is Rook. That's our main protagonist.
Absolutely. Then we have Varric. He's our best good friend and only consistent character in the Dragon Age series. His leg is busted, so he just plays confidant and mentor to Rook.
Then there is Solus. You might remember Solus. He's that bald mage. He is actually an ancient elven mage who created the veil, which separates the magical world from our own. He has now recently decided that he doesn't like that anymore, and he wants to tear down that veil, which would destroy the world as we know it.
Then there is Scout Harding, our companion who worked with us during the Inquisition. She touched Solus's dagger, and now she can do magic, even though dwarves aren't supposed to do that.
We've got Nev. She's a private investigator, a member of the Shadow Dragons.
Then we've got Balara, a Veil Jumper and handler of ancient magical artifacts and killer of demons.
Then we have Lucanus. Did you do Lucanus? Nope, I got Lucanus. The demon of Varantium, a mage killer who has a demon named Spite inside of him.
In spite of all, he's still just a demon in a cage. Then we have Elganon and Gillinane, two former elven mages who were so powerful that they decided they should be worshipped as gods, and then were worshipped as gods, along with the rest of the Evanuris. They are not very nice and are super into Blight as a way to regain their godhood in the modern age. Maybe Solus was onto something when he decided to trap them in a cage for a very, 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 very long time. Oopsie doopsies, if only he didn't then get trapped in that cage.
Yeah, I kind of did like a swippy swap there, and now he's trapped in that cage. But thank goodness they got us a little itsy bitsy bit of blood magic there with Rook, so he can talk to us. But
just an itsy bitsy. It's nothing to worry about. It's nothing to worry about.
Just the right amount of blood magic, not so much where we need to be worried. So just enough to be helpful.
I'm gonna laugh so hard if at no point that it does turn into anything, and it literally is just that amount of blood magic.
I mean, I'm going to be happy either way. I'm not going to lie. Like, if it was just like, hey, we need to explain how this blood magic works so that because people know how blood magic works, I think it'd be funny. If it also, I think both ways are great. And if you remember correctly, we are Dragon Age 2ing here in Veilguard, which means we have locations we return to on a regular basis. The first up is the Crossroads. This is the magical space between worlds. And between worlds, I mean between locations in our world. So we can use the Crossroads as kind of like a fast travel. So it is a space
but it's also kind of in between worlds, because it is like not in our physical realm. It is in a realm like kind of its own nature.
It's in the
Fade. Like kind of between the Veil and between our material plane. It's a weird dimensional place within our world and not.
It's the Fade.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Fade. Yep. Yeah. So there is full of alluvians. These are the Meryl mirrors. They're magical mirrors that can teleport you across the continent. Boy, I got all those words wrong there at the end. We're going to keep that take.
Doesn't matter. If it's one thing Squelch is known for, it is correct pronunciation. So they'll obviously let this one slide.
Neve says hello.
Yes. The Lighthouse, Solus' former home in the Crossroads. It is magical and seems to hold many secrets and is our main home base for the series.
And we get to kind of upgrade it accidentally as we do stuff with our friends, which is very cool.
Yep.
There is Minrathous, the capital city of the Tevinter Imperium. This is where most of our missions have taken place so far. Here we are mostly existing within Docktown, which is more of like a rundown area of Minrathous.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Then we have Alathon Forest, home to many magical artifacts and base for the faction of the Veil Jumpers.
And we got Trevoso, a city in Tevinter, home base of the Antivan Crows. I think it's a city in Antiva. Traverso.
It is a city in Tevinter, which is the region within Tevinter is Antiva.
Ah. Nice.
And I did like your pronunciation. I believe it is Treviso is how typically pronounced.
How did I pronounce it? Trevoso?
I believe so.
Cool. Treviso.
You look, one of us is going to be right.
It's probably you.
If we throw enough spaghetti at the wall, it'll eventually be done.
All right, the story so far. When the team acts to stop the Dread Wolf, ancient evils are unleashed upon the world. 4 months.
No. I was just reacting as the audience.
Oh, gotcha. I was like, what did I do wrong this time?
Who would experience these ancient evils being thrown across the world. I'm just, for the rest of this, going to react. Don't react to me. Don't feel like you need to. This is just, I'm the audience surrogate who are learning this for the very first time.
This is very good. I'm glad that we're definitely talking about this now as we're recording. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is what happens when Matt isn't here.
For months, Varric had searched for Solus, a mage revealed to be the elven god of lies and trickery, known as the Dread Wolf. Solus planned to tear... down the veil so that raw magic could flood back into the mortal world, restoring it to its natural state, which would also
What would
unleash
happen?
a tide of demons and kill thousands of people. When a lead
Oh,
finally
no.
came, Veilguard gathered a team in Minrathous, hoping to stop his former friend before it is too late. And the team succeeded, but at a price.
Yay!
Trapped in the Fade,
Oh, no.
after they sabotaged his rituals, Solus delivered a dire warning from the dream world. The ancient elven god Elganon and Gillenane had escaped the prison where he had held them. Although nothing the Dreadwolf said could be trusted, the team had no choice but to investigate.
Were
Unfortunately,
Solus's warnings true?
Proved to be true.
Ah!
Elganon and Gillenane were indeed free and already corrupting the world with blighted magic. To stop these self-proclaimed gods, the team needed to recruit experts at confronting mages and monsters, as well as take advice from anyone who could help, even the Dread Wolf himself.
Man, seems like things are not going great for us. Surely this week things will start to go better.
Everything is not coming up Milhouse.
I knew him as Solus. Smart, thoughtful, loved to hear himself talk. But long ago, he had a different name. The Dreadwolf. Ancient elven god of lies, or heroic rebel against tyranny, depending on which story you believe.
All right, let's start with Friends in Hidden Places. Back at the lighthouse, we swing by our friend Nev's home. She thinks it's a good idea to check out what our old friends, the Vedatori, are up to, since they've been seen committing evil deeds in Docktown and were involved in Lucanus's kidnapping. So it seems like they may have found some new fake gods to follow. She suggests stopping by the Shadow Dragon's hideout in Minrathous to see if they know anything. In the meantime, Balara is hard at work trying to fix up her ancient elven doodad, and it is not going well. Rook walks into her home just in time to see Balara whacking at it with a wrench. Sadly, whacking with a wrench does not work. Now that we are done with the wrench approach, Rook wants to know what the elven doodad actually is. Balara tells us that it is Nadas Durthalin. Nadas Durthalin. Nadas Durthalin.
Yep,
What did you got?
nailed it.
Did I get it right?
Yeah.
The 8th archive. That's archive with a capital A, so we know that it is important. You know, okay, about the pronunciations. In other games, we don't hear them. We only read them, and so getting it wrong is just wrong.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm starting to realize why you guys love talking about Final Fantasy VI so much.
Nadas, yeah, nope. I should have done a better job with that one. I should have edited that one out. I thought I had it right. All right, so that's archived with the capital A, so we know that it's important. Other than that, we don't know much. Balara seems to, so that's good. Apparently, it's some sort of like knowledge with like it's full of. It's a library created by its creator, and we don't know anything more. So great. If only it worked, but it does not yet. Because we presume that Balara will fix it eventually. She is cheerful if frustrated. On the other hand, Harding is just confused and worried. The magical voice that only she can hear is telling her to seek her out. Telling Harding to seek her out. The magical voice, that is. Harding wonders if maybe this voice is like her. A dwarf who can use magic. And that's why only Harding can hear her. The voice seems said to search for those closest to the stone. So Harding says she's going to check with her contacts in Orzammar and let us know. Now that we're done chatting with our friends, it's time to go find out what the Shadow Dragons know. We arrive in Docktown with Nev, who has set up a meeting with the Viper, the leader of the Shadow Dragons. He is wearing a cool mask to hide his identity, as well as goes by the Viper instead of his real name, which is not Viper. We approach him, and he tells us that there are darkspawn tunnels under Docktown. Darkspawn in Minrathous is bad, but apparently the tunnels also are how the Shadow Dragons get around. So okie dokie, let's go kill some darkspawn. We make our way through Docktown, killing random Vedatori along the way until we eventually reach the secret entrance to the tunnels. As soon as we enter, we hear an explosion and then come across some Blight. We destroy the Blight boils, which lets us clear the Blight blocking our path. Once we're through, we hear a couple of Vedatori chatting about quickly killing the Shadow Dragons in the tunnels so they can get away from the Blight because it is icky. That's bad luck for them because I guess we're going to have to kill both Vedatori and Darkspawn now.
Yay!
Darkspawn. Darkspawn now. So we take care of the Vanatori without too much trouble, but the Darkspawn tunnels are a bigger hassle. They keep regenerating until we destroy the Blight pools. By the way, I love this about the Darkspawn in this game. So Darkspawn are very much like horde-like creatures, right? Like the basic Darkspawn, just a whole bunch of them. And the way that they handle that in this game is, so let's say, so this is medieval Mass Effect, right? And in the Mass Effect games, the way the mooks would come down, they would like fall from the ceiling via like ropes and stuff, right? Or they would like fly
crawl
in,
up from down below, or
or they'd be like airdropped in. Yeah. In this game, the mooks, the Darkspawn specifically, just get like regenerated from these Blight pools that we have to destroy while fighting the Darkspawn. And it is very fun and very interesting.
It's always funny because every now and then there'll be one like hiding around a corner, and there's just enough of them that I can't quite move forward super safely, that I'm kind of just running back and forth, and then I go, oh yeah, there's a Blight pool somewhere. I should go kill that.
Yeah, and what's great is like I found a couple times is I'll forget that Darkspawn do this, because I'll go off and be fighting other things, and then I'll get back to like a Darkspawn mission, and I'll be fighting like, there's no end to them. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, there is no end to them. I gotta go find the pool. We keep moving through the tunnels, killing Darkspawn and Vanatori as we go, until it becomes clear that the Darkspawn and Vanatori are working together. That's bad and weird, because Darkspawn usually attack all living things. Does this mean Vanatori and Darkspawn have some sort of pact? Well, that's a problem for another day. Time to go talk to Viper and let them know the tunnels are clear. The Viper is confused about how the Darkspawn and Vanatori are working together, but Nev has a theory. If the gods control the Blight, maybe they also control the Darkspawn. Tarquin, an Imperial Templar who works with the Shadow Dragon, says he might have a lead. He tells us there is a lot of cult activity near a warehouse. In case you don't remember, Imperial Templars are different than Templars in Southern Thedas. Imperial Templars are basically cops, instead of the anti-magic prison wardens that are the Templars of Southern Thedas.
Which feels better. There's problematic issues though, no matter what, but like, at least it's not always like, well, if I see a mage, I'm gonna kill it.
Yeah, it was always one of those things where it was like, you have a mage staff, so obviously every Templar would know you're a mage.
Yeah.
And it just kind of was only rarely a problem, and it felt like it should be a bigger problem than it was. So it does make things easier.
Yep.
And all future games will also be easier. Inquisition was fine as well, because the mage and Templars were fighting, so there was no, the mages were considered to be free at that point, or at least revolting, and so it made more sense there. But in Origins and 2, having a mage just wandering around seemed like it should be an issue.
It was a little weird sometimes.
Yeah, a little strange. On the way to the warehouse, we find a bunch more Vanatori in the streets of one of the largest cities in the world. No big deal. We get to the warehouse, and the jerks have locked the front door. Luckily, they are stupid. I know. And left a note nearby telling one of the guards to stop leaving the secret entrance on top of the building open. So off we go to the not-so-secret entrance.
I love this so much because the note specifically isn't... Because it's obviously here's the obvious way that you go about this for the player, but it is written as, please stop leaving the roof unlocked. It's letting in a draft, and it's driving me crazy. And I love the idea that a passive-aggressive post-it note is what takes down the Vanatori.
So we enter the building from the not-so-secret entrance and walk directly into a Vanatori ritual where they are summoning some Darkspawn. So this is a fun little fight with Vanatori mages and a Hurlock boss. The Vanatori mages are they have this fire tether amongst them, so they're kind of fun. And then once they're down, we can take care of their Hurlock. Very, very, very fun little boss fight. Did you have any problem with this fight?
I didn't, but I want to note that the combat between ranged and melee, I think, is at such a good balance in the Veilguard, because in some games, like in Dragon Age 2, it felt like, all right, well, you got to kill the mages because they will one-shot your entire team. And then sometimes in Inquisition, it was like everybody's just got so much armor that it doesn't really matter who you go for first. It's just pick someone and go. And this time it feels like the mages do, or anybody that's in the back line does have less health, so you are incentivized to take them out first. And they also do a little bit more damage, but it's not like a crazy amount more. And so it feels like the balance is what it should be between backline and frontline fighters.
I do also enjoy the armor versus unarmored versus
Barrier.
I thought that's done very well in this, where to knock out armor, you have to do your heavy attack. So you have a heavy attack and a light attack. And so you have to do your heavy attack to get through the armor efficiently. I think that's really well done, I think, in this game as well.
Mm-hmm.
So after searching the place, we find a note telling some unknown reader to send Darkspawn into the tunnels to root out the exact location of the Shadow Dragons. So they know the Shadow Dragons use the tunnels, but not exactly where their hideout is. That is good. Then we find a second note to Knight Commander Lenos of the Imperial Templars saying they are happy to have him on their team. That's
less good.
Not good. Much less good. And then last but certainly not least, we found a knight. Oh, nope. Then last but certainly not least, we find a note with a ritual from Eldranon telling the Venatori how to summon Darkspawn, along with a relic that they can use to control them. That's very bad. We return to the hideout to tell the Shadow Dragons what happened. During this conversation, a thread from the Inquisition war table pops up. Former Magister Maveris Talani. You may remember her if you did one very obscure war table operation where you help her to support the magisters who are anti-slavery. She's very nice. So we supported her and Dorian in their attempts to end slavery and mage rule into Winter. May has been kicked out of the Magisterium, but still works for the Shadow Dragons to fight back against the mages. May tells us that the first warden of the Grey Wardens is at the Cobbled Swan and wants to speak with us. Sweet! Finally, some Grey Warden assistance against the Blight. How did this mission go for you?
I liked it a lot. I liked kind of finding the notes that were explaining various elements. I thought that they were a good combination of pretty obvious, you knew what the details were, but they also were written in I would say fairly realistic way, if not slightly stupid at times, because when people think that what they say is never going to get read, sometimes they write things stupidly obviously. And I thought it was kind of a fun explanation of why the Venatori and the Darkspawn are working together. I think it made sense narratively. I think that the mission itself was fun. And I really liked, we'll get a little bit more into the next one. I like the next element is a keynote or a coda to this.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I thought going and finding the secret entrance on the roof was a lot of fun, getting to kind of because you had to find a way up there. It wasn't just climb this ladder. You had to search your way up onto the rooftops to hop up over, because in the real world, you just don't get onto a roof easily, right? And so you had to find the way onto the roof, and on the way you had to fight Venatori and other things. I thought it was well padded for as well as combat is concerned, and it was a ton of fun. So if you thought that there was going to be some Grey Warden assistance against the Blight, too bad, you're wrong and dumb. The first Warden is a total tool, and he hates us, especially if you have the Grey Warden background. He tries to tell Rook that they are a bad Grey Warden for not following orders and instead saving people's lives. Yes, he is mad that you save people's lives, because that's the kind of person he is. It's more important to follow order than to save lives. He also blames us for unleashing the Blight in Demetta's Crossing, which, if you remember correctly, that was where the mayor worked with the Fate Gods to unleash the Blight on his own town, which we also didn't do. He also doesn't believe anything we're saying about the release gods or Solus. He thinks it's all a fairy tale, his words, not mine. To make matters worse, he decides the best course of action is to take us to Weishaupt under guard and throw us in prison for unleashing the Blight. When we try to argue, he basically tells us that we're a stupid dum-dum, and that while the Blight is evil, it is predictable, and the Grey Wardens will defeat it on their own without any help. And I'm like, but dude, I'm a Grey Warden as well. And he's like, but a bad one. Come with me to Warden jail. And then just before we get carted off to Grey Warden prison, who is that from the top rope? It's Dorian!
Ba, ba, da, ba.
He says, and I quote, Adamant Fortress, 941 Dragon. The Grey Wardens tried to raise an army of demons. Hardly the models of good judgment yourselves, are you? The first Warden retorts that everyone knows Warden Clarel acted alone at Adamant Fortress. Dorian scoffs at this and says, imagine if everyone were to see the letter where I discovered that you authorized her actions. The first Warden tries to turn this back around and claim that the security of the Grey Warden's at stake. Dorian very clearly does not care one little bit about the security of the Grey Wardens, and indeed says so.
Yeah, which fair, because Dorian was with us when the Grey Wardens were entirely corrupted and almost helped bring down the destruction of the entire world. So it's not like they've got a great recent track record going on.
Yeah, the Grey Wardens were such heroes in the first two games, and have in the third and fourth game really turned into dopes with power, which I at first I didn't like, but have really grown to love, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I do think it's funny, like in the first one, it's like there's 3 Grey Wardens, and it's just you 3 forever and always. And then it's like, and now there's an army. And it makes sense, because like there's Grey Wardens in other places and what, yada, yada, yada. But it is very funny to me that they go from like, there's 3 of us, one of us is going to figure out how to kill this archdemon, to we have an army, and we're not going to do anything because we don't think anything that you're saying is correct.
And like this, what does bum me out though, is Hawk was sent up to Weishaupt to like during Inquisition to like straighten out the Grey Wardens. And so obviously that didn't happen, which bums me out because Hawk is the best and she
Hawk
deserves to always be successful in everything she
Yep.
does. So but anyways, thanks to Dorian, this settles a matter of us being carted off to the Grey Warden prison. But the first Warden demands we stay away from the Blight. Spoilers, we do not stay away from the Blight. So, turns out that May told Dorian we might need some help, and thank goodness she did. Dorian tells us May is actually the person who started the Shadow Dragons after she was kicked out of the Magisterium, and that Dorian remained as the man on the inside. When we ask what we should do about the Grey Wardens, Dorian scoffs at the idea of the first Warden being anything to worry about. More a politician than Warden is his take. He suggests we go find some real Grey Wardens. You know, ones who are not sipping wine in a bar in Minrathous.
Love this as well. I love the idea of the leader of the Grey Wardens being an absolute tool, but there's still being legitimately important Grey Wardens that are out there fighting, because I feel like that is oftentimes a representation of the real world, and I think that that's a cool way to kind of draw some of that parallel in, and I liked it a lot. I like that story choice. I like that narrative arc.
I think it's a narrative they've been dealing with since the expansion of Dragon Age. So in Dragon Age Awakening, when we first meet Anders. Anders is a mage who was running away from the Templars, who then joins the Wardens to essentially like save the world from Darkspawn, because Darkspawn bad. And then once like the Warden from Ferelden, the hero Ferelden moves on to go do whatever she needs to do, Anders actually becomes part of the Wardens proper and realizes it's just a corrupt organization like every other large organization, and leaves, and then ends up taking a spirit of vengeance into him, and then, you know, blowing up a temple in Dragon Age 2.
Like you do.
And so this isn't even like, and then we have obviously what happens in Inquisition there. So it's not really even a new storyline, but kind of an expansion on something that was all the way back, written all the way back in like Awakening, essentially, which I think is very cool.
Yeah.
So we head back to the lighthouse to update Varric. He takes one look at our dagger and is like, oh, great. I know that dagger. That dagger is made out of the idol I brought out of the Deep Bros during Dragon Age 2. You remember Dragon Age 2, right? The same one that eventually became Meredith's sword and drove her cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. A dagger made out of pure lyrium with a ring at the top. But this dagger isn't blighted anymore, so how did Solus cleanse the blight from it? Before they can talk about this more, Harding says she knows a couple of Grey Wardens who might be willing to help.
I also love this narrative thread of introducing the idea that Blight can be cleansed somehow, because we've only been able to destroy it up until this point. And if there is a way that Blight can be cleansed, and that it would not surprise me if like a significant character or a companion gets blighted in like Act 2, and then we use Solus to unblight that character somehow in Act 3 or have to make some sort of choice along those lines. If that's the case, I would be a huge fan of that. Of like, here's this little thing. Turns out Solus knows how to remove it, but it requires a lot, or you have to do these things. I'm very hopeful that this will continue that that concept.
It'd be very, very cool, I think. Yeah. This kind of also continues to expand upon the Blight is a living thing from Inquisition.
Yep.
So yeah, very, very cool expansion of the story. All right, before we go off to find those Grey Wardens, though, we need to stop by to see how Nev is doing. Balara is chatting with her about all the wisps in her room, Nev's room, not Balara's, because they're actually causing quite a ruckus. Balara offers to help, but Nev says it's her problem and she'll deal with it. Then a wisp knocks over a bunch of papers off her desk. Balara then begins to fangirl over Nev's work as a private detective. She says she followed her in the papers and also tried to read several serials when she could, but then complained that, being out in the middle of the Arlathon forest, that she couldn't ever get the end of these serials. Yeah, so Nev wants to take care of a few things in Docktown, so Rook offers to join her, and off we go. Nev wants to check in on how her home is doing, and then also pick up a few serials for Balara. Very nice. Something that happens over and over in this game is your friends being aware of each other's existence in a way that I feel like almost every other game with companions doesn't do. So you have, Balara just being a fan of Nev's work. You have Nev, remembering that Balara likes cereals. You have Lucaris helping pick up food for them and doing dinners. So it's just a bunch of life happening that makes the world feel very lived in. The same way the cities and villages feel lived in, I feel like our home base feels lived in a way that it never did quite as much in Inquisition or Origins, for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. So Nev takes us to a few of her contacts in the city and buys a paper from every newsie in Docktown. Before we leave, she takes us to a vendor to pick up her favorite street meat. She tells us that Varric once we stopped Solus, she'd be done and the job would be over. But instead, we set a couple of ancient elven gods loose, and now if she quits, the world ends. And if the world ends, so does Minrathous. Minrathous might be corrupt and petty, but it's worth saving.
Delightful. Another really solid little side quest. I like that not all of these quests involve combat. Some of them are just walking around the town talking to people and seeing how our companions interact with their world. I think that that's a good and interesting way to go about it.
This is your part.
Oh, I didn't know if you had any other thoughts that you wanted to talk about. On that last
so I nodded, which is very good podcast. I was nodding along in agreement with you, and I'm sure the listeners saw that, so I can't believe they missed it. Yeah,
yeah, I'm really sorry. Oopsies.
Yeah, it's only episode 336. Obviously, I know exactly what I'm doing.
From here, we go on to a warden's best friend. We know that there's a lot of blight going around. We need some Grey Wardens. If the head honcho won't help, then we will find someone who will. Scout Harding put the word out, and we're able to find some wardens who might be interested in helping us. We head to the location and are told to meet Evka and Antoine. We do so. They tell us that they really shouldn't act without the head warden's approval, but there's this guy named Darvin who is a well-known Grey Warden monster hunter, and he sometimes skirts the rules a little bit. He seems like just the kind of person we might need. We go to where Darvin is supposed to be, and there is a Warden camp that has been taken over by Blight. And is that a Griffin? What? Darvin approaches and asks us what happened to the Grey Warden camp and why we smell like Blight. We swear, we just got here. Darvin asks us to help look for the other companions who are training the Griffin that is with him, who is named Asan. Darvin doesn't train Asan, he just protects him. Yes, Dana.
I love the Griffins so much because they're not.
He's the best.
They're not adult Griffins. They're like juvenile Griffins. So they're like just like the sweetest dog versions of Griffin. They're like, so like, you know, in Toothless and How to Train Your Dragon is very much what if a dragon were a cat?
Yeah.
This is very much what if a Griffin were a dog, and it's perfect.
I love him so much.
Yep.
Stevie was watching me play through this section, and she looked over and she went, "You better be able to pet or recruit that thing soon." And I went, "I'm very confident we will."
Not only can you pet Hassan, you give Hassan hugs. You give Hassan hugs back at the lighthouse.
It's so good, and you can go on quest. We'll talk about the quest later on to get him treats.
Yep.
He's the perfect best boy.
Get him the treats.
So we go searching for the missing wardens. We also learn that this area is where the Grey Wardens keep and train all Griffins. It is even a secret to most other Grey Wardens. Pretty neato. So there's this secret base where the very, very few kind of maintain the tradition of keeping these Griffins alive. We fight a bunch of blighted friendos. They're no match for us, though, because we know what we're doing. We find the Grey Warden friends. Uh-oh, they're dead or dying and soon to be dead. There's no one left to train us on. I guess it'll have to be Darvin. What a journey this Grey Warden will go through in order to figure out whether or not he can train this beautiful beast. We keep going and find the last 12 Griffins, not counting us on, all locked in their cages via blood magic. We're unable to get to them just now. We'll come back to them later. We come up against the Gloom Howler, who is a blighted individual of some renown. We don't exactly know what he is at this point. But whatever they are, they've been hunting Grey Wardens. And as we approach them, they teleport away all of the Griffins locked in their cages. Oh no! That sure seems like a quest for later. For now, we fight a few other blighted individuals, and we team up with Darvin, who says, "All right, I'll help you out if you can help me get the Griffins back at some point in the future." We say, "Yep," and move on to the next quest.
Yeah. I love the Gloom Howler so much. Like, just a brief moment we got to, like, almost fight it. It looked so cool. It was such a neat, like, idea. It's such a great name. And, like, the fact that it, like, just, like, vacuumed up 12 of the last 13 Griffins that exist in the world is amazing and cool. And I can't wait to find out more about whatever this thing is.
Yeah, because apparently this thing is hunting Grey Wardens, which is kind of wild to hear from anything that comes from Darkspawn or the Blight, because they usually try to avoid Grey Wardens because, you know, they're Grey Wardens. They're one of the few things that actually trains to kill Darkspawn, and I am fascinated to learn more about that story.
Yeah.
Next up, we have a brief companion quest of how to train a Griffin. This one's a short little guy. We go on a little journey with our new friends Darvin and Asan, where Darvin learns a little bit about training the Griffin. For instance, we learn the Griffins are, in fact, incredibly smart. And Darvin probably needs to chill out a little bit because he's too aggressive with that Griffin. Griffin is able to find treats, and Darvin's like, "You're too dumb to find treats." And we're like, well, maybe they're not. And in fact, they're not. They're pretty smart, which makes sense because they're a legendary, mythical beast that the Grey Wardens have been using for centuries now. It seems unlikely they'd use a dumb creature for that.
They used, but then they all disappeared until they find the 13 eggs, like, locked in stasis, and we're bringing the Griffins back from extinction, essentially. So yeah, it's very fun. I love Asan is fantastic, and like the way that he responds to what Rook and Darvin says is so funny, and it's such like like there's a sparkle in the character model eye that is so good. It's really a great character. It's really fun.
Next up, we move on into a main quest, either on Blighted Wings or on Deadly Wings. So we'll get into a little bit of both, as well as talk about why both of us chose the exact same one, even though I attempted to choose the different one, but I was really late, I was really sleepy, and read Dano's message incorrectly. So, we get back from training our Griffon, and Minrathous and Treviso are under attack, both by blighted dragons. We can't be in two places at once, so we split up. Nevgist goes to Minrathous, and Lucanus goes to Treviso in order to protect their home cities. We have to choose where we're going and who is going with us. So why did we both choose to save Treviso? Dano.
So I chose to save Treviso because I was like, well, Minrathous is like one of the most powerful places. Like it's a true legitimate empire. It can it should be able to protect itself. And Dorian is there, and Dorian can definitely take care of a dragon. I've gone dragon hunting with Dorian before. He's fine. And so I was like, we're on the other hand, Treviso is like their only army, quote unquote, is some assassins. That's not a very good army. So I probably need to go help them because I have faith that they will be able to, that, you know, Minrathous can save it, to take care of itself, and then Treviso can't, even though the game made it very clear that neither of them could take care of themselves, and that whichever one you don't go and help the other one will be destroyed. But I was like, well, in my head, I know that Minrathous is the one that should be able to defend itself from a dragon. Even they give a very good reason why it wouldn't be able to, because Venatoria are there, and they will use this moment to seize control, right? And so even though they are there, they will kind of use this as a moment to like cede, you know, they will, you know, take advantage of the chaos.
Yes.
But so
I was very, very similar along those lines. The only other addition that I had is I was a Shadow Dragon was my background. And in my brain, I was like, I gotta trust the Shadow Dragons to be able to take care of their own city. They are a incredibly capable people that, worst case scenario, can get people to safety and wait for us to get back, right? And the game doesn't confirm that logic in any way. It's very much like, this dragon is going to majorly mess up either city that you don't save, but like you gotta find a reason to choose one over the other. The other reason is that Dano sent me a message, and I finished playing through this at about 1 a.m. because it was the only time that I could find to finish it, and Dano sent me a message of Matt and I picked the same thing, and then I skipped the middle, and then I unhid the word that Dano hid, which was Matt and I picked the same thing. Nev is how I read it. Now, what Dano typed was not that. What Dano typed was, Matt and I picked the same thing. If you want to pick something different, pick Nev. And I just ignored that middle sentence. And I was like, oh yeah, Matt and Dano just picked Nev. All right, good.
I'll be honest, I have played many hours of games since then and have been full of nothing but regret for picking a Treviso. And
Treviso.
What'd I say?
Traverso?
Treviso.
Treviso.
Treviso. Treviso. I'm never going to get it right. Just suck it up. I'm going to say it wrong. Deal with it. Treviso. Because like every time I see Nev now, she just scowls at me, and that makes my heart sad. And also, like, what if Dorian hates me? And Dorian's my favorite. It's like my third favorite, I think, from Inquisition. I love Dorian. I don't want Dorian to be mad at me. What if Dorian's mad at me too? So I'm like, do I go back and like use the next 2 weeks where you and Matt are on vacation to start over?
This is real me going back 6 hours in my save to choose a different path for my sister on Dragon Age 2.
To save Bethany.
Yep.
I know. So there's a very good chance that happens.
Now, let's go over what happens based on what you choose. Now, if you go to Minrathous, which is not what we did, but if you do, the city is under attack by an ice dragon. It is raining down on all of us. The Venatori are making their move. They're trying to take over the city. We meet with Nev, who tells us that we need to bring the dragon down because we cannot stop it while it flies. We need to ground it. And as we work our way through, killing Venatori along the way, Gillenane is here and says, "Give us our dagger." And we say, "No." And they go, "Oh, curses, dragon, kill them, and I'll take their dagger later." So we go, great. We fight. We wound the dragon, and about 75% of its health. Gillenane calls the dragon off and says, "It's enough. We can deal with these fools later." So we run over to Treviso to see if we can help over there, and we find out that Treviso is ruined. We meet with Lucanus, who is furious we didn't help. There's no specific crows or named crows that are killed, but things overall are bad. The city is blighted. The crow's strength has been crippled, and Lucanus refuses to join with us until the city is under better control. If, on the other hand, we go to Treviso, as both Dano and I did, we run through the city, clearing out blighted areas, and the Ontom are working with the Elder Gods and trying to take it over. We make our way through, and the dragon lands down, intent on taking us down. Not only is there a dragon, but also Gillenane is also here controlling said dragon. And this also makes sense logically, because the dragon is blighted, and these Elder Gods control Blight to some degree. Yeah, it makes sense. This fight took me a while. It took me a number of times because this dragon has some good attacks, and there's some cool mechanics of it. There's specific weak points that will highlight in purple that are either going to be a leg, and then if you stagger it, then it'll flip onto its back so you can attack its belly for vulnerable. But if you're somebody that is used to fighting from a pretty good distance, targeting those legs is pretty difficult. So then I had to switch up my playstyle quite a bit and get much closer to the dragon, which took me a little bit longer to kind of adjust to playstyle. But overall, pretty big fan. Dano, what'd you think of this fight?
I thought it was a ton of fun. Yeah, I was playing a warrior, so getting up close and personal was fun. It kept on, it did a ton of damage over and over again.
Yeah, this thing hits like a truck.
So was thankful I had, 2 healers with me, to keep on just like going back and forth with heals, which made it take even longer then, because then I couldn't do like cool combo attacks, but it was very fun. And I, not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed I couldn't like actually kill it, because there's nothing more fun than killing a dragon in Dragon Age.
I was so grateful because I got through the first phase of the fight the second time. I think I died twice to this thing. And on the second time, I got through the first phase, and then they change it up. They kind of summon in some darkspawn, and you've got to clear some chaff before you go back to fighting the dragon. And I died in that second one, and I was like, that thing's at 85% health. If this is how difficult this fight is, I don't think I can get it to 0% without dropping the difficulty. I'm going to be here for a while. This is Expedition 33 fighting the Lamp Master level of amount of times I'm going through this fight. And thankfully, at 75%, it flies off. And I was like, this makes sense. This is a good level of difficulty. I played through it twice. Good.
It was a disappointment because I'm a sicko. Not because...
This is true.
It was a very good, like, obviously from a story perspective, you can't kill the dragon at level 15. Yeah. Well, the main
Need
dragon.
a little bit more time.
Yeah.
After that, we head over to Minrathous to see if we can help over there. It turns out the dragon has wrecked the city of Minrathous. The Shadow Dragons were, in fact, no match for it. Asher, a.k.a. Matt Mercer, a.k.a. the Viper, a.k.a. the leader of the Shadow Dragons, has been grievously injured. And in fact, he has blight in his blood. He seems like he is likely to die or turn at some point to become a dark spawn, as we have seen happen a number of times throughout the Dragon Age series. He assures us that he's fine, but that seems unlikely to be true. If Rook is a Shadow Dragon, then you are blamed for all of this, as Tarkin, another Shadow Dragon leader, claims that things have only gotten worse since we have returned to Minrathous. Nev is furious with us and demand that we leave and give her some space. She won't be available for quite some time. And while both Nev and or Lucanus, depending on who you save, will leave the party and both be hardened, which increases the damage they deal, but reduces the amount of healing that they do, only Lucanus is locked out of romance if you don't help him. Nev, you can still romance later on in the game.
Not only does it reduce the healing they can do, it just cuts off that part of the tree entirely. So they
I
just
didn't know
don't
that. That's
heal
exciting.
anymore. Yeah, because I have Nev back now, and she scowls at me whenever I enter a room, and it makes my heart hurt because I'm like, but I like you. You're fun and cool. And so she does like more damage, but then doesn't do any more heals, which like from a meta perspective is good for like warriors because she's one of the best like DPS for warriors. But I don't know. Yeah. So yeah.
I am excited about this because I've exclusively spec'd her into her Blizzard, which freezes and does AoE and time stop. So her not being able to heal anymore, I'm okay with that. From here, we then move on to our last quest, completing the Veilguard. We've done a lot of things. Let's go chat with Solus. We give him an update on where things are at, and he goes, wow, things are bad. Thanks, Solus. We thought so too. He shares a little bit of wisdom with us. The only reason that the gods would share control of the Dark Spawn is if they were planning to use them as the main element of their army. This makes sense. Solus tells us that if the gods succeed, they will destroy the world. We point out that Solus also would have destroyed the world. And he goes, no, and then we very quickly go, well, yeah, you would have, just, different levels of demons. Solus goes, well, either way, you need to find an expert of the Fade magic and a dragon hunter. Fair enough, let's do those things. Bellara knows an expert on the Fade magic, someone from the Morn Watch. These are mages who are experts in necromantic magic. We need to look for Professor Emmerich. He is on an expedition in the Grand Necropolis, but we have been granted access to go look for him. So we do. Harding has a lead on a member of the Lords of Fortune, Tosh, who is a dragon hunter. Nice. Let's go find them. Now, Dano, you've written something here.
I know something you don't know.
Okay. Would you like to describe it?
No, I can't wait to talk about it next week, though. I mean, Tuesday for you, though, really. It's for everybody else, it's next week. Yeah,
yeah.
So, you're only a couple days away. You better get playing.
I'm gonna. Look, I don't have any work anymore. I don't have a show to do. The next 2 days, I am working on two things. Playing Dragon Age and writing more fan fiction for the upcoming Hearthstone expansion.
Did enjoy the fan fiction, by the way. I think, like I said in the comments, Hearthstone doesn't deserve you.
Hello, old friend. Let's meet for tea after the match, shall we?
Slurp.
You know what I did? I went and did some side questing. So, let's talk about that. First is the plight of the Veil Jumper. While hanging out in the Arlathon Forest, we learned of some Veil Jumpers who have gone missing. We head back to the part of the forest which is full of broken artifacts and magical portals. Very cool magical portals. We run around with Bellara's help, fix the artifacts, and save the Veil Jumpers. Well, out there we see a super cool chest that we can't get to because there's a small stream between us and the chest. And if you know anything about Dragon Age games, the only thing stronger than the main character of a Dragon Age game is a small body of water, which you will always 100% immediately drown in.
Can you imagine how powerful our hero would be if they took a basic swimming class?
Like, there was one fight where it was just like, I think there was just a small, it wasn't even a stream, it was a trickle of water. And like my characters fell in between it. And I was like, just grab the side. You have jumped like 20 feet in the air and grabbed a ledge. Just pick yourself. Oh, nope, you drowned. So we obviously can't cross this very small stream because it is between us and the chest. There's also a broken Meryl mirror. We run around and have to find 4 magical laser beams to power up the 4 magical nodes. That creates a bridge so we can cross the stream to get to that super cool chest. But as soon as we try to cross the bridge, we get attacked by the Guardian of Secrets, a forest creature looking like a dude who, like a stick dude that uses scythes to attack us. It's very fun. We open the chest and get a unique helmet, the Iron Veil. When we approach the Marrow Mirror, a mysterious voice starts speaking. They interrupt, as predicted, as expected, as hoped. That's it. Very cool.
I also want to note that when you started explaining this, I did not realize what quest you were specifically talking about, and my brain went, I did that this week where I jumped in and I immediately died. Where was that? It was this exact quest. So I went through the exact same motion that you did.
Did you get to the chest?
No, I thought, I'll do this later.
It was actually kind of complicated, but it was super fun when you figured it out. There was a whole bunch of steps and very fun, but a little bit of time though. Next up in the Arlington Force was Loyal Friends. So back at the Veil Jumpers camp, we find a note from Taynor saying that Oris and Gus aren't home yet, and that he is going to go find them. And he helpfully includes a map. We follow that map to the location, and there is a Blight bubble blocking our path. We break it and find a whole lot more Blight. We poke around and find Oros dead. We keep searching for Taynor and Gus, eventually finding Taynor. Sadly, Taynor has been transformed into some sort of darkspawn. We kill Taynor and then find Gus hiding behind an old statue. Gus the Nug. We take Gus back to the village, and one of the other Veil Jumpers says that they will watch Gus for us. And then we have Spirits of Dalish. While bopping around the Arlington Forest, we run into an anxious spirit. The spirit is repeating the words, trapped, can't get out, don't want to die, stop the thoughts, stop the fears, make it quiet. Belara says she has seen spirits who are overwhelmed by bad emotions and that eventually turn into demons. That if we can help spirits of the recently deceased Dalish, maybe we can help the spirit. Off we go to find some elves who died in tragic ways. We find some Dalish who died searching for their lost HALLA. And we find some others who the Arlington Forest turned into trees. And yet more who hid in a cave during a storm and then were trapped in a cave-in. Lastly, we found someone who was messing with a Marrow Mirror, and it started corrupting the land. He destroyed the mirror, but then it killed him. Yeah, Stormage?
If in this quest, we have to. You mentioned specifically, and I'm gonna highlight this section so you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Looking for a specific kind of ancient elven artifact in order to return that. And I, in this instance, was playing a female or feminine character. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, this does make me a HALLA back girl.
So the spirit, we return the spirit, and it is still sad. So we have to do a funeral rite for the dead people. And then it stops being sad. Success. You can go ahead and put HALLA back girl as the title, Stormrage.
That's what exactly what I'm doing. Thank you. Thank you.
And still more in the Arlington Forest, we have the magic of the ancients. This one is super weird, and I love it so much because it is so incredibly weird. So we're in the Arlington Forest, and we find an artifact that isn't working. We run around and fix some McMuffins to make the artifact work. At each McMuffin, we find a scrap of paper outlining a ritual someone was trying to complete. Not only was he trying to complete a ritual, but he was also talking with one of the Evanuris, one named Vora Shivan. Did I get that right?
That one I don't know.
So once all 4 McMuffins are fixed, a body is transported from the Fade, and it just sort of floats there in the sky, just floating there, just a body. And then Belara says this magic feels familiar and that this whole ritual must have been designed to bring something here. Obviously, that body. Rook takes one look at it and is like, we should stop messing around with this. The forest will take care of this on its own. And off we go. So we just left this husk of a body that was communing with one of the Evanuris. Those are one of the ancient elven gods. Not one of the 2 evil ones that are blighted, but another one.
But probably there aren't we don't hear about good elven gods. They've got to be bad, right?
I don't know, but we just left it floating there. Like I think Ruck was like, "Don't worry, something will eat it." Speaking of sad spirits, back in Docktown, we have In Memoriam. There's a sad spirit in Docktown. He wants us to find some people who were murdered. We find them, and then it becomes a spirit of compassion. It's actually a very sweet little quest.
I love this quest. I did this one
Yes.
as well, and there was basically there were 3 different people that we had to track the murders of, and in each of them we found like kind of some writings, and in one of them there was this an artist who had been doing charcoal paintings, and there are these wonderful descriptions of these charcoal paintings, and it just like stuck with me as like a really cool element. And then at the end, we find out that each of these people were tempted by a demon of, it was either like desperation or something along those lines, and they all said no, and then ended up being killed. And I was like, that's really cool to like show that these people who are not in a place of like power or fortune can say no to these demons, and then also kind of providing consequences to that. And I think it was just a really cool story that showed spirits in a way that we haven't really interacted with them before, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah, there was one with the same story. It was where she wanted there to be a little bit of life in Docktown, so she just tended a garden. She just thought it was important for there to be plants in Docktown, and just tended this garden. And it was a very sweet, short little quest. It was very neat, and I liked it a lot. There was, forgive me, whoever you were in Discord, when we were talking about playing this game, they mentioned the side quests and how they were not at all required, but that they were actually really fun and, you know, add a lot of flavor to the story, and spot on so far, I would say.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite side quests. It's so small, but it's one of my favorite side quests that I think we've had in really any Dragon Age game, just because it did exactly what it wanted to do. It didn't overstay its welcome. It told a unique story from a different perspective, and then it was done, and I liked it.
Yeah, it's very good. In the same area of Docktown, there is Gate of the Lost Ages. So there is a champion that you can find. These are one of those, the champions of the Evaneris. They are these giant ogre-like beings in these giant blight bubbles that you have to free them so they don't just like pop out of nowhere. It takes like 3 or 4 good hits to free them from the blight bubble. And then once you kill them, then you're able to go and fight this, go to the crossroads and fight the actual champion. So this is cool. So I killed this one. I killed this one at level 14, and this is a level 20 champion. So
you killed that's interesting. I killed it at level 13.
That's crazy.
And it was a level 25 champion for me.
Yeah, it was like I said, I killed this at level 12, and it's a level 30 champion.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot. I killed this at level 10, and it was a level 99 champion.
Oh, wow, that's super impressive, actually.
Yeah.
In the show notes, I said that I killed at level 16 as Storm Rage Ruts. Well, I killed him at level 15, so obviously I'm the real gamer. Yep. Actually is impressive. I did kill another one of these from next week. It was a level 30 champion. I think I was like level 21, 22, something like that. And it was very difficult. And I immediately bopped
this
out.
This was tough. It took me a couple times.
I immediately bopped out to go fight in the crossroads. Got absolutely worked to the crossroads. I'm like, well, that's for later. And then in Treviso, a slow poison. We pick up a job with the crows to try to get a lead on the person who helped the Antam take over the city. We find the crow took the job dead and decide to finish the job for him. It turns out the butcher, this is the name of the warlord in charge of the city, has a dude who makes poison that can break someone's will. Sort of like Darth Vader with his little like needle robot. We kill the poison master, who turns into a giant darkspawn thingamajig, and then find a note that confirming that someone did indeed betray the crows and the city. And then,
I killed the champion, and then when you kill, so champions are like these side quest bosses that are kind of similar in like difficulty in as like the dragons in Dragon Age Inquisition.
my
You
take
kind of have to
too.
go out of your way to find most of them, but once you find them, you get this champion's essence, and the champion's essence unlocks a different area within the crossroads. And then in the crossroads, it's not necessarily a quest, it's just an area you can explore, and it unlocked an area that was full of Venatori. There was some pretty basic but some fun, solid puzzles in that. Went through, killed them all, finished the puzzles, and it was a really great time. I got some, nothing insane. I got a little bit, I think I got an extra skill point and 100 health and a few items, but it was one of those where I was like, oh, this is just cool. I like exploring it and seeing how this world interacts with itself, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I don't know if they're as much fun as killing the dragons, because the dragons were so iconic and cool. But I do like that you get a couple of big fights out of it, and then also some fun stuff to like kind of explore. Whereas with the dragons and Inquisition, it was a fun fight and then a bunch of cool loot, but nothing additional game wise. So a different take.
Taste my grilled cheese.
Munch, munch, munch.
I have the first good, and the first good is that Dorian is back, and he is still amazing. He is so good. He is still Dorian. He acts exactly like he did in Inquisition, and he's amazing. But now he's a little bit more grown up and has the like same haircut that old timey Solus has, and it's such a good haircut. And then, like, it's just I love Dorian. He's wonderful. He's still quippy and smart and funny and awesome, and you can have
He's
chats
so
with
great.
him at the hideout, and it's super fun. I've also got the not so good, and I just have written down enchantment. So in Dragon Age Inquisition, so first thing, so back at the lighthouse, there is a spirit who will enchant our items for us. There's no runes that we discover or anything like that. There's just like simple enchantments that you can put on weapons. So it's like plus 10% that, plus 20% this. You can add damage. It's just a little bit extra stuff. It's nothing like it's a very mild, like there's not a whole lot really to it that I've found so
It's
far.
very simple. It is the level of upgrading that I can handle.
Yeah, which it's fine. I'm not gonna lie, I do enjoy like getting to craft and that kind of stuff, but that's not what this is, which is fine. It's much more Mass Effect than Inquisition, but I still enjoy it. But we know that Sandal, if you remember Sandal from Dragon Age, Origins of Dragon Age 2, he was the dwarf who was like the savant at enchanting things. During Inquisition, during the final DLC, we know that Sandal made it to the crossroads and the Fade because we travel there and we find his diary in one of the locations of the crossroads, which we currently are. So why not just have him in the crossroads and do our enchanting for us? Just bring back Sandal. Like, it's so easy. Why does it have to be this boring spirit when it could be Sandal? And like, we know he's there. It would have been so cool. It honestly bummed me out so hard when like our shopkeeper spirit is now also our enchanting spirit, and there was nothing more added to it. And I was like, at least have it be Sandal.
Yeah. I have the best good, and it's that I like that we get a big choice. We get a big choice that has pretty significant consequences. It locks you out of a companion for a while. It hardens that companion. It can hypothetically kill somebody, because I can't imagine the Viper's going to live through this one. And there is like destruction on the city, but it also it tracks logically. It has those elements of, yes, our team still split up, because whoever we don't take as our companions goes with the other. And it kind of showcases the impact of Rook in a situation without being too insane. Because the main difference is that our dagger draws the dragon down. That is the main difference between them, which is why it is important for Rook to be there. which then gives us an opportunity to actually fight the thing. And I think it's a really cool reason that showcases the significance and danger of us choosing to save versus not. I liked it a lot.
He asks each traveler 5 questions. 3 questions. 3 questions.
3, that's a magic number.
What are you liking so far, Storm Rage?
I like how truly insane things are just falling apart. Like, cities are burning, dragons are coming, our companions are struggling, significant leaders are dying, we're introduced to people who immediately have to deal with a crisis, and it is a wonderful setup in an Act 1 of everything's going wrong. It seems almost insurmountable, and I think that there are so many solid loose threads being dropped that we will eventually pull at in later acts. And I think that overall it's a really, really solid Act 1. Daniel, what do you like it so far?
The exploration is super rewarding. It's not required. Like, you're not gonna like miss anything game changing, honestly, with by not exploring. But by taking the time to really explore an area, there is some really, really cool stuff you can find. Interesting locations, story beats, and then like some really cool like gear. So far I found 3 unique items. I found an axe that is super cool and I'm still using right now, that for every time I hit something, it lowers its defense until its defense is 0, and then I do 50% extra damage to it. The bees belt, which is part of my offensive like thing now, so I will take damage purposefully so I can use a potion which will then add bees on all the surrounding enemies. Like,
Good.
it's just fantastic. And then that light helm, which I'm not using because I'm using heavy armor, but it was still fun kind of even getting there and getting that fun little story beat about they're here, they're whatever it was, I think was so cool as well. So I find the exploration of this game is really interesting and fun.
I want to piggyback onto that because the exploration is there's a good combination of very, very obvious exploration and really not. So throughout the world, in both the crossroads and in the various areas that we interact with, there are kind of 2 major statues to kind of look out for.
Mhm.
One is one of a wolf that is clearly in the shape or in the vein of the Dread Wolf, and when you activate it, it'll look in a direction, and where it's looking is something of importance, and it is usually a skill up or something along those lines. And so you go, great, I found this thing, it is now going to tell me where I need to look for a different thing. Love it. The other are these shrines, I think to the Evanuris, I can't remember the exact thing, that you activate, and then you have to go and find these various things that you have to destroy, and then you get a bonus to your dagger. So you can kind of be on the lookout for these big things that will then encourage you to explore in other places. So that way, I don't feel like I'm just going off randomly. I can see something and be like, oh, big thing there, I'll go look there. And if I miss other things, I miss other things. But it makes me want to explore more than I typically would in a setting of just like, see what you find, which is not for me.
There's also the statues that when you find them, they will shoot off 4 clay pigeons, for lack of a better, like shiny clay pigeons.
Yeah.
And
That was
then
the
you
second one that I was talking
You
about.
shoot the 4 shiny clay pigeons and you get plus 100 to your health.
Yep.
And then the shops, like looking at all the shops is also rewarding because they will have gifts to give your companions, which will give like bonus like to skills for them. They will have things that will upgrade your shop back in the crossroads, which will let you upgrade items more. And so like everything in the game serves a purpose. Like there's not just like, oh, there are 5 shops here and they all have the 5 same things. Like all 5 of those shops will have different things. And so going to them and seeing what each shop has is actually worth spending that little bit extra time. It's very cool. What are you struggling with?
So when the different cities that you choose to go to will have a different dragon. One is a fire dragon, one is an ice dragon. Big fan of that. But no matter what city you go to, Gillinane shows up. Which on one end, I get it's Gillinane is the one that is controlling the dragon. Gillinane is looking for the dagger. They would show up kind of wherever Rook showed up to try to get the dagger. But I really wish that Gillinane had been in one and Elganon had been at the other to showcase like how these gods are impacting things. And I also get it because Gillinane is like the Blight god in a sense that we've been introduced. So I get it, but I do wish that we had separated that so there'd be more distinction in those choices.
I think she's also the god of monsters, right? So
That sounds right.
I also believe that her character model with like the multiple arms on her torso is kind of similar to one of the Blight monsters that we fought in Dragon Age 2, maybe one of the DLCs.
That sounds familiar.
Where it was like the Blight, the darkspawn that create other darkspawn, but this time she has like a human body. So I think she kind of looks similar to that as well. So I think it's kind of a callback to that. The mother, right? The mother.
Yeah.
Was that Dragon Age Awakening?
Dragon Age Origins. Dragon Age Origins Awakening.
That was Dragon Age Origins Awakening. Yep. Where the mother was. So I think that was where. But so it's very cool. Yeah.
Daniel, what are you struggling with?
I chose poorly and I want my choice back. I don't like my choice and I want to undo my choice. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I am sad every time I think about my choice. It was the wrong choice. I chose wrongly. And I knew at the time I chose wrongly and I want to choose correctly.
I get
What
it.
surprised you, Storm Rage?
I am kind of surprised that all of us chose the same path to save Treviso instead of Minrathous. But then I looked online because I was like, what are the differences like between these two choices? And almost all of them are like, players aren't choosing to save Minrathous. Here's why they should consider it. And I was like, oh, interesting. I wonder if so many of us were just of the mindset of Minrathous has enough that it can hold its own and Treviso cannot. And I think it's just an interesting thing that I don't really have any conclusions or fun thoughts about other than,
I kind of wish, because I thought about this after the fact. That was like, well, there's only the crows in Treviso. But then, no, there's the Antam, and they're just dragon hunters. I wish they had mentioned the Antam as well when they talked about that.
But the Antam are working with the dragon.
Do they end up working with the dragon?
Yeah, so the main
But did we know they were going to work with the dragon, though? I don't think we knew that, though, right?
We knew that they were doing shady stuff and were likely connected because they were from the side quest that you can do beforehand. You get notes that they are like working with the darkspawn and they are working to take down.
That's because it turns into a darkspawn. You're right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, the Antam are there as well, but then like, so it does just feel like the obvious choice is to protect the city that doesn't have anyone to protect it. So, but I think they gave a good, and like the way it's laid out, it's like, hey, if you don't save Treviso, then all these people are going to die of blight. And then it's like, well, if you don't save Minrathous, then these other bad mages are going to take over for the current bad mages. And you're like, oh. So it really does feel like Treviso is in a worse spot. Like, oh, we don't want the entire city dying of blight.
I do think that the thing that they could have hit a little bit harder that would make this decision, I think, more compelling had I thought about it, was that Minrathous is the capital city. Like, yes, Treviso is an important city, but it's certainly not the capital. And Minrathous is such a massive city, has so much power over the rest of the continent of Tevinter, that if you control Minrathous, you can kind of control the rest of the country. So while Treviso is in a worse spot, it is less important. And Minrathous, while in a better spot, is more significant if you lose. I think that's the kind of bet that you're making on that, but I don't know how much that they really hit that in that conversation.
Yeah, the more I talk about it, the more I feel like, given the information I had at hand, I made the right choice. I just don't I just don't want Dorian to be mad at me, and I'm worried Dorian's gonna be mad at me. If you want to Google if Dorian's gonna be mad at me or not, and then just give me a thumbs up and thumbs down at some point, so I know if I should go back and redo it, that'd be super helpful.
I actually have worse news. If you want to interact with Dorian, you need to go back.
Oh no! Okay, I'll go back. I have so much work to do now. We have to end this episode. I have game to play. Oh, I was
Dano,
worried about
you
that.
the game?
I was worried about that. What surprised me? We are so bad at saving the world. We're like really, really bad at it. So like in the world of Treventer, it is 1 step forward, 2 steps back. We never make the world a better place. In Origins, we stopped the Blight, but now there's even more Blight. In Dragon Age 2, we saved Kirkwall. Well, the thing that almost destroyed Kirkwall now has sent 2 ancient gods into our world. And then, we also set Corypheus free in Dragon Age 2. And then in Inquisition, we stopped Corypheus, but Solus decides to use this as a chance to merge the Fate into the real world. So if in 2 we had never set Corypheus free, Solus would never have taken this chance to, like, to try to merge the world, the Fate and the real world again. So it's awesome, and I can't wait for the next game. Oh, wait. But it really is, it is a very dark world. Like in Mass Effect, like things like they kind of consistently get better, even though we make incremental better things. The world is getting worse until we become a cyborg world, and then everything is happy.
Yeah.
In Dragon Age, like we save the day, but then like the year is completely ruined. Like, yeah, we did our best, but our best wasn't good enough. It's really a dark game. I love it.
You want to buy some death sticks?
You don't want to sell me death sticks.
I don't want to sell you death sticks.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
I want to go home and rethink my life.
Make decisions. Make a friend sad. Fight a dragon. Get a griffin. Maybe save the world. Not this week. Dano?
Pet a cat. Give a coin to a street musician. Hug a griffin. That's it for this week. Next week, we veil the guards in Dragon Age the Veilguard. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks to our Twitch subs. Thanks to our patrons. And thanks to our YouTube listener, Clyde. You can find the link to join our Discord and links to support the show in the description of this episode. And don't forget, Dragon Age the Veilguard is a game, and games are meant to be fun.
Yeah. And don't forget, elven gods are only gods if you call them gods, baby.
This is the end of the show. Everybody bye!
So I'm also worried that I didn't find all the cute little candelabras. Did you know the candelabras wanted to be found? Did you see that in Docktown?
No.
So there are these cute little candelabras that deliver notes. And it's like, hey, you should come and find us. And I was like, okay. And then like, so I did that for a little bit and then kind of forgot about it. And then Raven was like, hey, if you want to do anything, you know, any quest, complete any quest before you go do this thing. And I was like, oh, that's good. I've actually heard that from somebody else as well. I'll make sure I complete all the quests. But the finding the little candles isn't a official quest. It doesn't get added to your quest log. I completely forgot about it until I was bouncing around in Minrathous after the destruction. And I found 2 sad, dead little candle guys. And I was like, oh, are the candle guys dead? So I think I do have to go back and save the candle guys too, because they were super cute. They want us to be their guest, and put their service to the test.
But alas, we were the beast to their beauty.
Oh, I'm gonna go replay a bunch of video game I've already played. I've played a lot.
I believe it. I believe it. I did watch the when I was watching through to see what the other path looked like from a Let's Play, and the person was playing a warrior, and I was like, oh, that also does look super fun. And it's crazy to me that they are able to create 3 very, very distinct and different classes that all look incredibly fun to somebody that has like a very specific play style. And I think that's cool as heck, and it makes me want to replay the game. And that has not always been the case in all the Dragon Age games.
Even amongst classes, like all 3 warrior classes seem like super duper fun. So I'm playing a Crusader, is that right? A sword and shield guy. And it's mostly burning damage, which is very cool. And like a lot of like, you like perfect defense with your shield will then like give you burning weapons, and then you can rally your party. Very cool stuff. But then there is the other path. It's like you can basically like to be a whirlwind warrior, and like with the other one, we do like these crazy things with 2-handed weapons that looks like super fun. And then the third path is you basically are a like heal tank where you deal damage, you do like range damage over time that also heals you. So like you're slinging your shield around nonstop and then like dropping necrotic damage, and then that necrotic damage then heals you over time. And, like,
That's very
all
cool.
3 are super fun, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I want to do all of it. Like
Combat
really
good.
well designed.
Combat real good.
Yeah. All right, we have game to play, so should we head out?
Yep.
All right, that's it for this week. That's it for this week. We'll talk to you again next week. Sorry for talking over you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.